The Seekers, or Legatine-Arians as they were sometimes known, were an English Protestant dissenting group that emerged around the 1620s, probably inspired by the preaching of three brothers, Walter, Thomas, and Bartholomew Legate. Seekers considered all organized churches of the day corrupt and preferred to wait for God's revelation. Many of them subsequently joined the Religious Society of Friends, Origins. Long before the English Civil War there already existed what Hill calls a lower-class heretical culture in England. The cornerstones of this culture were anti-clericalism and a strong emphasis on biblical study, but specific doctrines that had an uncanny persistence: rejection of predestination, millenarianism, mortalism, anti-Trinitarianism and Hermeticism. Such ideas became commonplace to 17th-century Baptists, Seekers, early Quakers and other radical groupings which took part in the free-for-all discussions of the English Revolution. Beliefs and practices. The Seekers were not an organized religious group in any way that would be recognized today, but informal and localized. Membership in a local Seekers assembly did not preclude membership in another sect. Indeed, Seekers shunned creeds and each assembly tended to embrace a broad spectrum of ideas. Seekers after the Legates were Puritan but not Calvinist. Some contemporary historians, though accepting the zeal in desiring a godly society, doubt whether the English Puritans during the English Revolution were as committed to religious liberty and pluralism as traditional histories have suggested. However, historian John Coffey's recent work has emphasized the contribution of a minority of radical Protestants who steadfastly sought toleration for so-called heresy, blasphemy, Catholicism, non-Christian religions, and even atheism. This minority included the Seekers as well as the General Baptists. The collective witness demanded the Church to be an entirely voluntary, non-coercive community able to evangelize in a pluralistic society governed by a purely civil state. Such a demand was in sharp contrast to the ambitions of magisterial Protestantism held by the Calvinist majority. Nevertheless, in common with other dissenters, the Seekers believed that the Roman Church corrupted itself and, through its common heritage, the Church of England as well. Only Christ himself could establish the true Church. However, there were a number of beliefs and practices that made the Seekers distinctive from the large number of non-conformist dissenting groups that emerged around the time of the Commonwealth of England. Most significant was the form of collective worship. The Seekers held meetings free of all church ritual and in silence, mindful of direct inspiration and guidance. Seekers anticipated aspects of Quakerism and a significant number of them became Quakers, and many remaining Seekers attended the funeral of George Fox. Richard Baxter, a contemporary and unsympathetic author, claimed that they had merged with the Adventists or followers of Henry Vane the Younger. Often when heretics were faced with being burnt at the stake they retracted, retaining the beliefs in a less public way. The Legates were exceptional. Thomas died in Newgate prison after being arrested for his preaching, and Bartholomew was burnt for heresy in 1612. Influential Seekers. Roger Williams. William Earbury is credited with convincing Oliver Cromwell's daughter to become a Seeker. John Saltmarsh's The Smoke in the Temple is an important statement of the Seekers' beliefs. William Walwyn.